Silver has shaken up the stock market in 2025. Last year, the stock market did really well. It grew by 16% and then by 6%. Gold prices went up by 60%, while silver prices jumped by about 145%. But now in 2026, things are starting to change. China controls about 70% of the world's silver supply. On January 1st, 2026, China officially stopped sending silver to the United States. This is why everyone who invests is now asking, will silver prices go up again in 2026? Or will silver prices drop back down? That's what I want to talk about in this video. This way, you won't want to get caught up in all the excitement, and you'll have a better understanding of what might happen with silver and the economy in 2026. To help start the new year right, I'm holding a live and free investor workshop on January 13th, 2026. Our economy is changing faster than ever, with things like AI, tariffs, and new Trump policies. These things are changing not just how the economy works, but also how investing works. If you want to see how these changes will affect how money moves, and how it can create better chances for you to invest, I'm holding this live and free workshop on January 13th. I'll be showing how these changes can create new investment opportunities. It's free, it's live, and I'm doing it twice, on January 13th, once in the morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and again in the evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. But if you want to join, you do have to sign up. But I have a small request. If you want to join, please sign up soon because our software only lets a certain number of people join us live. Every time I've done a workshop like this before, we either filled up and had to turn people away, or we got very close to filling up. So to avoid that, please make sure you sign up soon. That way you can save your spot. In 2025, three things came together to make silver prices go up a lot. Those things were demand, supply, and policy, and they all made the perfect situation for silver. On the demand side, our economy is changing and needs more silver. Artificial intelligence and data centers need more silver. Building an electric car needs 70% more silver than a regular car, and solar panels need more silver too. So we know our economy is moving in a way that will need more silver. At the same time, there's a shortage of silver, partly because China is now stopping silver from being sent to the United States. The reason they are doing this is because of tariffs. The Trump administration started putting tariffs on China, and in response, China said, "Okay, no silver for you." And this is causing a shortage of silver in the United States, while we need even more silver. In the words of Elon Musk, this is not good. Silver is needed in many factories and processes. Because of this higher demand and lower supply from China, we have seen new policies in the United States. It started with President Trump in 2025, adding silver to the list of important minerals in the United States at the end of 2025. What this means is that now, when you are an important mineral like silver, it becomes a national security issue. If we can't get enough silver, it's a problem because, like I said about copper earlier, if the United States can't get silver, our economy stops. We can't make electric cars. We can't make solar panels. We can't make the AI and data centers we need. We can't make a lot of things, and that will hurt our economy. So now, if we can't get silver, that's bad for us. It's bad for our safety. It's bad for our economy. Now that silver is on the important minerals list, the Trump administration can do more legally to make it easier to get and mine more silver outside of China. If you've been following the economy at all over the last year, you've heard a lot about China and worries about China. The reason is because we are in an economic battle to see who will be the top economic superpower, not just in 2026, but in 2036 and beyond. Our economy is bigger, but China's economy is growing faster. At the time I'm making this video, the United States economy is measured by a number called GDP, which looks at all the spending in the economy. Right now, the United States economy is about $30.5 trillion big. You can compare that to China, whose economy is about $19.3 trillion big. Now you might say, well, China's economy is much smaller. But you also have to look at how fast it's growing. The United States economy is growing by about 3.8% a year, while China's economy is growing by about 4.8% a year. This is why many experts say, if this keeps happening, China's economy could become bigger than the United States in the next decade or so. That's why the United States is trying to depend less on China. If we keep depending on China, we have a couple of worries. First, it will keep helping China's economy grow. Second, it makes us rely on China. If they ever stop selling us silver or other minerals and metals we need, that would hurt our economy. Now, because of tariffs, China has stopped and limited sending silver and other metals to us. That has made things harder for the United States economy because we need these metals. This is where the Trump administration has been working to separate us from China for two reasons. First, so we can be more independent in the United States. Second, to slow down China's economy and its growth. There is another part of what ES happening with silver that I haven't talked about yet, and that's the dollar. In 2025, the United States dollar had its worst year in about 10 years. When people worry about the dollar losing value, They often want to buy metals like gold to protect their money. The difference between gold and silver is that silver is used in a lot of things in the economy. We use silver in many different parts of the economy, like we already talked about. Gold, on the other hand, not as much. Are there uses for gold? Yes, but not as many as silver. So when people worry about the dollar, they buy gold. Gold prices usually don't go up because businesses need it more. Gold prices go up because the dollar is worth less, or people are worried about the dollar. So we saw gold prices go up a lot in 2025 because people were worried about the dollar, but with silver, it's a mix. Yes, people were worried about the dollar, so maybe they bought silver for that reason, but people also bought silver because of changes with trade and tariffs like we talked about. We know businesses need more silver for AI. They need it for data centers. They need it for electric cars. We know that. We also know that all these changes made the United States government change its policies to make and store more silver here. So yes, some people buy silver because they worry about the dollar, but silver is different from gold because silver has other uses in the economy besides just worrying about the dollar losing value. Before we talk about investing, you should also know that higher silver prices affect people. Because if you need silver to make products and companies have to buy silver at a higher price, that usually means the price of the product will go up too, because companies have to pay more to make it. Companies really have two choices. If they have to pay more to make a car, they can either take a smaller profit, or they can make you, the buyer, pay more, which is called inflation. We know we need silver to make electric cars. We know we need silver to make solar panels. We know we need silver for AI and data centers. So if silver prices stay high or go higher, those things will cost more to make, and businesses can either take smaller profits or make you pay more. Now that we know what's going on and what it means, let's talk about how this can create possible investment chances for you. I'll be talking more about this in my live investor workshop on January 13th. But I should also remind you that I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a random guy on YouTube too. Investing has risks. You're never promised to make money when you invest. In fact, you will lose money at some point. So always do your own research and never just trust a random guy on YouTube. The things I'm going to show you are just examples. They are just ideas. I want you to start thinking like an investor. That way, you can make the right investment choices for you. If you think silver prices will keep going up, you can get involved by buying silver. You can buy silver ETFs, or you can invest in silver mining companies. If you want to buy real silver, you can do that in person. But if you want to buy silver through the stock market, there are ETFs that let you do that. For example, SLV and SLVR. These are two different ETFs that let you invest in silver without owning the real silver yourself. You get to invest in silver by buying an ETF that is linked to silver. You can also invest in silver mining companies like SIL and SLVP. SIL is an ETF that lets you invest in the Global X Silver Miners ETF. SLVP is an ETF made by iShares that lets you invest in global silver mining companies. If you think silver prices will go back down in 2026, then instead of buying these, you might want to just watch them, and if silver prices drop, that could be a good time to buy. Option number 2 is looking at United States manufacturing. And the reason I'm talking about this is because we know China has been stopping the export of some materials like silver and other rare earth minerals to the United States. This matters because we need these minerals and metals. So we have to make more things ourselves and build up our supply chain. But it's not just about these metals. We know the Trump administration has been working with tariffs and tax breaks to get companies to do more manufacturing in the United States. So if you think this will work to make more things here, there are ETFs that let you invest in that change. For example, XLI is an ETF that lets you invest in industrial companies, and PAVE is an ETF that lets you invest in companies that build things in the United States, which goes along with making more things here. Option number 3 is you can invest in China. The Chinese economy has been hurt, but interestingly, China is now working to stop sending some metals like silver to the United States. This way, they can help their own businesses and economy because they want to depend less on the United States if the United States wants to depend less on China. We don't know what will happen to China's economy, but if you think it will grow, you can invest in China through the United States stock market because there are ETFs that let you do that. For example, FXI is an ETF that lets you invest in big Chinese companies. These are the larger, more well-known companies in China, like Alibaba and Tencent. If you want to invest in more Chinese companies, there are ETFs like MCHI. This is an ETF that lets you invest in a wider range of Chinese companies. This fund is made by iShares. Last but not least, if China becomes less of a supplier for silver to the United States, that could mean the United States will look for other places to get silver. We know that Mexico is the world's biggest producer of silver. EWW is an ETF that lets you invest in the iShares Mexico ETF. Yes, it's not exactly the same as investing in silver, but you can start to see how you can think like an investor. We also know the United States has been putting more money into countries like Australia to make more rare earths. And you can invest in the Australian economy too through a fund like EWA. This is an ETF that lets you invest in the Australian economy. Again, it's more general, but it helps you start thinking like an investor based on the changes happening. So silver prices went up a lot in 2025. Silver prices didn't just beat the stock market and Bitcoin, but they also beat gold by a lot. The reason is because we saw the perfect situation for silver in 2025, with high demand, low supply, and changes in policy. We talked about demand. We know the economy is changing in a way that needs more silver. That means more AI, more data centers, more electric cars, and more solar panels. All those things need more silver. At the same time, we saw a change in supply because the Trump administration put more tariffs on China. In response, China stopped sending as much silver to the United States. This drop in silver exports to the United States led to new policy changes here, including making silver a critical metal. This lets the United States make more decisions to get, make, and store more silver here. These three things together are part of why silver prices went up so much. We also talked about the connection to the United States dollar, where the dollar had its worst year in almost 10 years in 2025. When people worry about the dollar, they usually want to buy metals. In the past, it was gold, but also sometimes silver. But the reason silver is different from gold is because silver has a lot more uses in our economy, while gold has fewer uses. So people usually buy gold when they worry about the dollar, but silver can also go up when people use more silver. Then we talked about what happens when silver prices go up. If businesses need silver to make their products and it costs more, that means they will either make less money or charge you more. Based on all that, we talked about different ways this can create investment chances for you. Your investment choices will be different from mine. Your goals will be different from mine. So you need to start thinking like an investor. That way you can make the best investment choices for your own situation. We talked about how if you think silver prices will go up, you can invest in ETFs to get involved with silver or silver mining. If you don't think silver will go up and you think it will go down, you can watch these ETFs, and if you see a big drop, that could be a good time to buy. Then we talked about United States manufacturing. If we have to build more of our own supply chain here while the Trump administration is putting tariffs on other countries to get companies to make more things here, and President Trump is giving companies tax breaks to make things here that could help the manufacturing industry, and there are ETFs for that. Then we talked about investing in China. Des, if you think maybe China will grow more than the United States, there are ETFs that let you invest in that too. Finally, we talked about other countries that are big suppliers and makers of silver, or countries that are getting money from the United States to make more rare earths. We talked about Mexico. We talked about Australia. Again, I have a live investor workshop on January 13th. If you found this video helpful, the best thank you is a referral. So if you could please share this video with a friend, family member, coworker, or another investor. That way we can keep spreading this kind of financial education. Thank you. On December 1st, 2025, the Federal Reserve Bank changed their economic policy by ending QT. What that means in simple words is the Fed went from trying to take extra money out of our economy to now making more money. How do I know? Because on December 2nd, one day after the Fed ended QT, the Fed printed 13 and